Nothing more super than Duel of the Fates.
It really doesn't get better than this.
No, not at all. But we got to make sure to keep talking because we don't want to get a strike for this song.
Yeah, they're all about
talking
PMCA right
through
now.
This
DC
part,
Yeah,
that's
we're
funny.
getting knocked, and Disney decides that they're going to take us down for nothing we have.
Hey, they got to pay those lawyers for something, man.
They do. They got them. They have them on staff, so I mean, why not go with it?
It's just a bunch of people looking at random podcasts waiting to strike people. A whole team of
Got to
them.
make money somewhere.
There you go.
Because they ain't releasing Star Wars movies.
But did they make $1 billion?
Not from that they did. Not from the
DC.
movies they did.
And ta 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 ta. What's going on, guys?
That's interesting.
Hey,
I'm going to need you to not ever do that again in that song. Okay?
you know what? See if you can make me.
I really can't. Come over and cut your internet.
Yeah, I'm sure you would.
Facts.
I got a new cup. I don't know if we can.
Oh, so did I. I can't.
The light is too
Let me
much
see.
for it.
I got this one.
You can kind of see it.
Just a helmet. I take it.
I changed up my Cocoa cup.
I just have a Sonic cup.
Ooh,
Way to plug the sponsor.
Sonic.
Oh,
Dropping
look
the
at
Sonic.
Ace.
He ain't got nothing. Drinking air.
You got Wonder Woman cup.
What's going on, guys?
What's going on, man?
Thanks for joining us, all you out there. All of you are going to jump in later, maybe, or hear this later. We love you guys. Thanks for being with us. We are the Marauders. We are here every Thursday at 7:30. And real quick, let's go ahead and introduce everybody, starting below me.
What's going on? This your boy Snyder Cut, a.k.a. Ace Kennedy. You know what I'm saying. Talk nerdy to me.
The best.
Keep it going.
I'm
That
Oban
way.
Kenobi. I just felt like being that person today, so
I'm
Far
that
side.
I'm that putz named William. I had nothing clever tonight. So
I didn't have anything clever either. It's just Shane tonight. Until we get going and a mod makes me mad, then I change it. So, but for now, or I'm sorry, Snyder Cut makes me mad. But for now, it's just Shane. So we'll see how the night goes.
So I don't know if anybody likes Down Periscope, but I was working on a new nickname. Mike.
for
So
I've not
anyways,
seen Down Periscope.
You should.
Shame on you.
'cause It is pretty
Shame
funny.
on you.
All right.
Anyways, okay, so let's start out with our sponsor, which is what Bonnie just pulled up, Sonic. Perfect. Yep, even dogs like it.
Even dogs are fans of Sonic.
I actually already I tried out the new mesquite burger today because in the app they had it for like half price, I think, and it was interesting. I mean, I kind of liked it. I added like tomatoes and lettuce because I always add all the free stuff that they can add on whenever I can, but it was okay. Mesquite barbecue is okay on it, but
Was it like a sauce they just poured on there?
yeah, it was a mesquite honey barbecue sauce, which I'm not normally a mesquite honey kind of guy, so it was a little different. But I did get my 44-ounce sweet tea though.
There you go.
As someone who's no longer drinking caffeine, I hate you right now.
oh, that
Thanks, Sonic.
sucks.
I'm dying.
You could always get the ocean water at Sonic.
What is ocean water?
It's Powerade and Sprite.
That actually sounds interesting.
It's actually really good
I might have to try it.
for sure.
My options for drinks have been very limited. It's brutal.
Why would you go off caffeine? That just sounds awful.
Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. Especially for me. I mean, I used to go through 2 gallons of sweet tea a week. So it's a
A lot of sweet tea.
it's a lot of
It's a
sweet
lot
tea.
of sweet tea. Anyways, so be sure to use the app. It's always happy hour with that. You don't have to wait for 2 to 4 for your drinks half price. So grab that. And on to everything else. So obviously today dropped the Snyder Cut.
How many of us have seen it? Because I have not.
I have not.
I've seen an hour of it
Okay.
and I had to stop. So
Okay.
I've got to wait for the family to finish the rest of it.
Only,
But
only one rat bastard
So,
so, seen the whole thing.
Snyder cut down there.
Hey, listen.
that's because he doesn't
told-
wait on anybody.
Listen, I can't help you. I can't help. Listen, stuff drop. I gotta see it. I even had to. I told my wife we had my brother-in-law's birthday dinner, and I said, "Hey, I gotta tell you something." She said, "Okay." I said, "Put your knife down." She said, "What are you talking about?" Put your knife down. She said, "I'm not." I said, "Well, I'm not telling you anything till you put your knife down." So she put the knife down, and I said, "Listen, I already watched the Snyder cut," and she was like, "Are you kidding?" I said, "It's 4 hours." She said, "But I wanted to see it." I said, "But I watched it on my phone, so it's going to be a new experience watching it on."
Yeah.
She was just like, and so she told her mom on me. But yeah, I have seen it. And I cannot wait to talk non-spoilers with you guys.
Okay.
Well,
What's your
let's,
review? I mean,
yeah, let's go at first of all the reviews that are coming in are saying that it's awesome. There are a few sparse ones saying it's more fan service than anything, but across the board it's been, this is awesome, this is the movie we wanted. So I'm gonna go ahead and let Ace, or the Snyder Cut, talk about his non-spoilers. So we're not going to spoil this because it just came out today, so that's not even fair.
Yeah, because I will exit this like
No.
so fast.
No, I don't. Here's the thing. The reason why you won't get spoilers from me, because I want you guys to have the experience. So here's the thing. I was a person who liked the 2017 version of the Justice League. I wasn't with most people who really didn't like it. I thought it was cool. But I will say that I do like the Snyder version much more. The reason why, there's a bunch of things. Oh my gosh, I left my notes in the room. But anyway, just off the top, the story itself is much better. So very, very well fleshed out story. It really ties in well to both Batman versus Superman and Man of Steel. It ties into both of those very, very well. So the story is incredible. Each character is incredible. Because of the Snyder Cut, Steppenwolf is now my favorite DC villain. And for anybody who's listening to the Marauders anywhere, know that I criticize DC's villains. I don't like them. And this, I loved his version of Steppenwolf. And the reason why is most villains that you end up liking is because you can somewhat sympathize with what they're doing and why they're doing it. And for me in 2017, you had no motive, no motivation. So I would definitely say this is the one. Other than that, I look at one of the things that came out was Ray Fisher had issues with the Josh Whedon and his cut of the movie, and I totally 110% understand why. It's hard for me to believe after what I saw that Ray Fisher's claims were not true.
okay.
There's other reasons that are in the film. There's other characters and other people that show up that validate his claim, which is interesting because when they did their investigation, they said that Josh Whedon they didn't find him guilty of what he was saying, which, like I said, you watch the movie for yourself and let's reevaluate that.
I just wanted to say the whole the Joss Whedon version, could the reason it's so terrible be that, they tried to CGI the mustache?
Just the hour that I watched, it completely changed how I felt about it. I
hated that version.
I'm like Ace. I didn't hate it. There were a lot of things that I didn't like about it, but I didn't just like outright hate it. But just the hour that I saw, I was just like, man, I like this.
I just want to start listing all the reasons why I didn't like the Justice League movie, and maybe I can see on Snyder Cut's face there.
And like I said,
it's so much better.
I'm not going to spoil anything, but I will say, like I said, I'm going to tell you guys, the story is much better. Each character, you feel like they are a significant part of the Justice League. I thought
And the
that was
CGI is better. That's my big thing.
well.
Is the CGI.
This is what I'm gonna say about the CGI. I would say 85% of the CGI is really good. There's about 15% that you would probably notice a couple of things, and I can understand that because they were trying to get it done during the COVID season.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: a lot of the stuff that we saw. Okay, for me personally, a lot of the stuff that I liked from the 2017 movie is what it was actually Snyder's cut. So that's pretty interesting. But this is, like I said, the biggest takeaway for me for this movie is if you're looking at the Snyder version and the way the story is, you're just wondering what were they thinking with and like I said, I'm a person that like Josh Whedon's cut. There's nothing, but when you see where the story was supposed to go and what it was actually talking about, it makes such a huge difference on and the other rumors about cliffhangers, like where it ends and how it ends, stuff like that. I'm not going to tell you what the ending is, but I'm gonna just say the movie is complete.
Okay.
And I will say that I like what Snyder did. Like what Snyder did from beginning to end, as far as marketing, as far as trying to get this cut available and out, and whatever he did to negotiate with WB, like all of that stuff. I'm gonna just say that he set this up to where if they decided to pull the trigger to let him continue his story, it is available. Go ahead.
Does it make you want? Does it make you want the sequel?
Yes, I need to know what happens.
Okay.
I need to know what happens, because what I'm saying is like there's so much left on the table, even though, like I said, this story is complete. Like if they were to say, listen, we're trying to figure it out at DC right now. So what we're going to do, we are basically going to allow Snyder to have his versions of what's going on the streaming service. I would not have a problem with that.
And just keep it not canon. It can be its own story, essentially.
Yeah, because I mean, essentially, Matt Reeves is still doing his thing. You got JJ that's about to do his thing with Superman. So, absolutely, would love to see what happens to these characters in the iteration that they are with Snyder. The pacing was great. It has in the movie, it has its own breaks set for you. So if you are watching it and you get to the end of a chapter, you can stop there. So it's perfectly set up for you. I can't say enough about, like I said, the story and the characters. Like I said, Steppenwolf is an incredible character now, the way that he is. So I really understood why. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Any questions you guys have?
Well, I was going to say, you had me at story. So that was the thing I said last week is that I wanted to see an improvement in the story. I wasn't also one of the ones that crapped all over the original Justice League, because albeit I like DC, I grew up in a Marvel universe with, again, Spider-Man and X-Men were like my wheelhouse when I was a kid. And so, I loved, obviously Batman. I always had a thing about Superman because I came from Kansas and it was just the stigma about that. And I always felt like he was overpowered as a kid. I'm like, I like Spider-Man. He's a character that has weaknesses and flaws, and I never felt like Spider-Man or Superman really had that as a kid. As a kid, I felt that way. Now, so I wasn't as invested in DC per se. And then, so I wasn't horrible with the first Justice League. It wasn't like I sat there and said, oh, I can't deal with it. I was like, okay, it's entertaining. It's not spoiling my childhood because it's not my my background on the comic book series franchise. So I was like, it's entertaining. I can deal with this. I probably won't watch it a bunch more, but I enjoyed it when I watched it. But hearing that there's a better story, seeing the reviews that the story is much better, or a complete well-rounded story with the characters, that makes me happy because that's what I wanted to see. And so I'm really excited to watch it based on that alone. So
I'm sorry. One other thing I wanted to say was there are certain scenes that you saw from the 2017 version that are in this version here, and they're longer sequences, and they took like the funny parts out of it, so has more serious tone. Now, don't get me wrong, there are jokes in it, but it's not like Guardians of the Galaxy. You're not. This kept the tone of Man of Steel.
It's cool.
Yeah.
I like the darker tone. I like the idea of it. Obviously, I probably won't see it till this weekend, but I like the idea of the darker tone. And I didn't mind the first version. I watched it once. That was enough for me. Like, it was a cool popcorn movie. But I heard some stuff that I know he mentioned some stuff that he was talking about that he may have done in the sequel, a sequence with Batman and Joker talking about the death of Robin, and they each give their perspective of it. Like, so, I mean, I like the idea of like some really cool sequences we could have seen if he had gotten to do it. So I'm hoping that enough people talk about it and enjoy this one that they can push like they did to get this cut. Maybe we could push and see his whole version. And like you said, it doesn't need to be canon.
I can tell you, man. I can tell you from everybody who I've watched their spoiler reviews on it, and I can tell you that most of them are like, "Yo, I gotta know what happens next." And I'm just saying, I just think that it made you enter. I haven't seen people this excited about DC in a while. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Joker was a great movie. I think that obviously the excitement for the Batman is there, but I'm just saying to see these characters again, even though you know this was stuff that was shot previously, it felt like a completely different movie to me. Don't get me wrong, you gotta recognize some stuff, but I'm just saying, just the experience of watching it, I felt like I was watching a brand new film.
That's cool.
I would have to say the same thing, and I think in the short time that I got to watch, the stuff made more sense as you went through. Like the connections, you were like, oh, stuff that it's almost, if you say the Star Wars, the last three, where everybody was like, you have to go read the book and all that stuff. It made things a lot more succinct going through it. And then also on the tone that Ace was talking about, the music was different. The music was more like that really edgy, like dystopian type thing where you've got the grinding and kind of sounds that go with stuff. It's not the Marvel like whatever you want to call that.
Brass symphony. Yeah, you had the orchestra.
Yeah, it's
was it more
really
like Dark Knight ish?
Yes.
Even the color correction of the movie is a darker tone. And I meant to say this too. So far, when it comes to Snyder, I was not a fan of BVS. Even the Ultimate Edition, I just couldn't get past certain things. This is right up there because I've always said Man of Steel was one of my favorites. This is right up there with Man of Steel. Like Jared said, the music was really good. And what I really liked is, like, a lot of times in superhero movies, you get a lot of the slow-mo stuff. You get the slow-mo stuff, but not so much. Like, it looks like real action. Like the action sequences and stuff are really, really polished. I thought all of that, because I'm gonna just say this one thing. This is not a spoiler. Again, if you've seen the 2017 version, there's a scene of Wonder Woman where a heist is going on. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say the one in this movie, so much better. That's all I can say.
And and you see a lot of the same things, but it's not it's not the same though. It's the same things, but not the same. I don't know, without giving it away. So we'll talk more about this next week on that. But there are a few things on this still that he talked about, that he never watched the Joss Whedon version, saying that he didn't want to watch it. He wanted to stay away from it. And if that's the case, he blew the dude out of the water with what his original thought was. If he really didn't actually watch what Joss Whedon did and went with the full thing that he was wanting to do, the full script and everything, then he did a good job for what I've seen so far.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't watch it. I mean, if he had his own vision, he didn't get to make it. I could see him not being interested in what Whedon's version would have been.
I have a hard time with that.
I totally agree that he probably didn't watch it. Here's the thing. Obviously, when he was off the project, he had the tragic loss of his daughter, but there were rumors coming out that they were looking for ways to let him go anyway, because I'm sure if you notice with this version, because he even said it about 2 days before the film came out, he said that they were still pushing for him to add more jokes and for him to do this, for him to do that. And he was like, nah, not doing it. And so I do honestly believe with the way Josh Whedon's version came out that they had a vision for how they wanted things to go, because they were very reactionary off of what Marvel was doing, and they wanted to have a lighter tone anyway, which is how you seen it go from Man of Steel to BVS, and then Wonder Woman, and then to Justice League. You see the tone change. So I can understand him not wanting to watch Josh Whedon's version, because that's not the vision that he had for the film.
Yeah.
And he felt like it was stolen from him. So I can agree that he probably didn't watch it.
Yeah. And last thing, it is coming out this summer on Blu-ray, 4K, all that stuff, which is pretty awesome. That's kind of the first thing we've actually had put out there that we're going to be able to buy this if you want to actually buy it and own it, which is cool.
Smart. I mean,
We haven't got Disney stuff yet. So
another thing real quick, you guys, when you're watching this movie, I'm just going to tell you up front, the aspect ratio of the movie is different from what you've seen. So be prepared for that, because it's going to be a little jarring.
It's not 16 by 9.
I almost yelled at my kids and said, "Did you screw something up?"
Yep. Yeah. So I'm going to put it to you like this. When you're watching cinematic stuff, normally you're used to seeing the black bars on the top and the bottom.
Yeah.
This time it's probably going to look more like the black bars on the sides.
It's the old school version.
Really?
So it's done more 4x3?
He lengthened it. It's the way he stretched it. So if you were watching an IMAX, you would be able to see more in the frame, even though it's not the wide frame, if that makes sense. So like I said, when you see it, just understand that nothing's wrong with your TV, and nothing's wrong with the stream. That's just how it is, and you'll forget about it.
I was going to say, is it off-putting, or is it something you get over?
It's something that it's going to take a moment to adjust. Because I mean, understand, I watched the whole movie on a phone. So and I didn't have my, and when you're watching a streaming service like Netflix or HBO, you can't watch it straight up. You have to watch it like this. So then the screen went like this. So I'm just saying, just understand that. Yeah, it can be a little off-putting, but once I'm gonna tell you, the 4 hours flew, because for me the story just was seamless. That's all. All right, I'm done.
Awesome. I'm excited for it.
So Bonnie, you'd asked what did we like about the 2017 version that Josh Whedon had made? Does anybody want to answer that? I mean,
Ace cannot
without giving
I was gonna say
away.
Ace can't answer, only because of the fact, if I do, then you'll know what scenes are in this. I already gave you one scene. I told you the heist scene was in there. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
So anybody that hasn't watched, I guess that's everybody else besides me and Ace. So Justin,
have you
did
seen
you
it?
ever watch the Justice League movie?
Man, I watched it one time. Still trying to remember. It was not my favorite at all. I don't even know if I made it through the whole thing before I turned it off. But I mean, it was right. It's so unforgettable of a movie, it's so forgettable of a movie that I really just can't remember anything that stood out that I liked. So I am looking forward to this one.
So it's your last Jedi of the DC. Is that what you're saying?
It's definitely that. And I'm looking forward to this one because I've erased it. I'm just erased it from my memory. And this is fresh. I like Zack Snyder. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm with Shane. It'll be this weekend before I watch it.
Yeah.
I think you forgetting it, I think will actually even help more, because then you won't be like trying to compare in your head. Okay,
yeah,
did I see this and what did it look like there? So for you, it's going to be even more awesome. I feel like
listen, you guys, when you guys do watch the film, please call me, because I need to talk to somebody about it.
Yeah.
This is bothering.
Let's just watch it. Let's not.
Let's all call each other and then text him and let him know we already talked about it.
Yeah. As far as what I liked about it, and it's stupid because I'm feeling based on the tone that they're not going to have it so much in there, is I like some of the humor that was in the Joss Whedon one. I enjoyed the humor between the Flash and Cyborg. I like the humor between Superman and Cyborg. There's that, when they get blasted apart, I can't feel my toes. I don't know how that's even possible. Little stuff like that was funny. Some of the jokes that the Flash were involved in were really funny. But again, that's all kind of Marvel humor, and that's just kind of what I found amusing, just because I thought the jokes were kind of a ha-ha kind of moment. I thought the battle at the end with Steppenwolf was okay. I mean, it was a good battle sequence. I mean, it might not have been what DC fans wanted, but as far as a action movie goes, it was a decent battle sequence, I thought. I mean, it could have been more, but it wasn't horrendous. I've seen way worse. So that was good. I thought that the fight with Superman when he comes back and he's not quite there moments were really good, with like the Flash there, obviously, and them trying to kind of bring him back. That was a really interesting scene. How they did that to show like, oh, here's the Flash, he can move, and then that side eye he gets from Superman, and that moment was really, really cool to see. But I mean, like you said, it's in the end, it's not one of those movies that really sticks out as like, oh, I could tell you shot for shot how that movie was. Like, I can do that with Thor Ragnarok. I can do that with some of my favorite Marvels or action movies, or Batman Begins or Dark Knight or any of those movies. I can tell you almost shot for shot why I enjoyed those movies. But when it came to the Justice League, it was like, it was entertaining. I don't feel like I wasted a couple hours of my life. It was all right. It's one of those kind of things. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I felt like I was wasting my time, but it wasn't something that I feel like, blew my mind. So
I liked Wonder Woman.
of
Well,
course,
Wonder
yeah.
Woman wasn't. Joss Whedon didn't come in and F it all up.
I like Wonder Woman. All right, that's all I
That's
remember
the
about it, is that
difference.
Wonder Woman was in it. Okay, and I was like, it's probably the only reason I went and watched it. So
What about you, Bon?
Oh, I don't like that version at all.
Okay.
Like the
Yeah, she's
2017 version was, well, if they would have kept, Zack Snyder stuff, I would have liked it. But that's the problem, is don't try and make a DC movie Marvel, because DC is very dark. They're very over here. There's some comedy. Here's the thing too, like you can even do where it's not necessarily comic book based, like the Batman Begins and the Dark Knight Rises, like Christopher Nolan's version. That's not how the comics were, but he did a really good job of, putting the story together. Whereas Joss Whedon just
And there was some humor, and there were humor in the Batman trilogy. There was some humor put in there, and it was put in there appropriately. It wasn't just It wasn't like first Avengers. Every other sentence is some sort of joke or wisecrack. You know what I mean?
Which that's a Joss Whedon movie too.
Well, that's why I'm excited for you guys to see it, because I think you guys will be surprised to find out which parts was actually Zack Snyder. I mean, So
I'm interested.
That's what I'm excited for you guys to see.
Yeah,
for the ones that remember it.
I'm just glad that people are talking good about DC stuff, because like
it's been a while.
I know, and that's so you talk about like X-Men. I was a huge X-Men fan growing up. That was my cartoon to watch, but Batman was also my cartoon to watch, and so I'm just like,
the animated series. Of course. Talk about the animated series.
If you take what we got with Joss Whedon, obviously he was the Avengers guy, so all those movies have kind of the same funny tone, because you got Taika Waititi. He's got the funny tone. I mean, the Russo brothers have the funny tone.
No, they're darker, I think. See, I think the Russo brothers are a little bit darker than the.
But there was still a lot of comedy thrown in, though. But you have a Zack Snyder that it's like his is like, if you watch the Batman vs Superman, it was not funny stuff. It was all trying to be a dark tone, even though some of it was kind of
except for Martha,
quirky, weird. But
because both their moms' name are Martha.
Funny.
Oh, I'll kill you now. We have the same name, mom. Like, it's cool. We're buddies.
What I'm basically getting down to is they've got to find other directors that, if they're going to keep the DC dark tone, they have to have directors that are dark tone directors, not a Joss Whedon that is not that style to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And DC movies should be a darker tone. That's the comic book lines are notorious for being darker than any of the Marvel stuff. It's just that's a well-known fact, and they should really they should really be playing off of that. There's no reason to go, we have to copy Marvel because it's selling. Well, that's a point, but at the same time, your shtick is that you have a darker, more gritty feel to your comic books. Make the movie feel that way, Yeah, Marvel's doing great, but you don't have to emulate that because you have your own thing.
They got new leadership, so like I said, I hope you guys enjoy it.
Thank God for new leadership. Now, if only we get that on Star Wars.
So with more supers on the way, we actually have Jupiter's Legacy, which is basically, from what I've seen, the whole plot is we're actually going to see like the start of how supers are, like the first super ever, and that family, and the whole finish of it is actually the ending of humans and supers and
End of
everything
time.
at the end. Yeah, so we have the end of time that happens. So whatever happens at the end of time. That we
So
know.
it's a
Anyways,
it's a 50-year story. So
Pretty
with like
dope concept.
with like 50 to 60 new characters, and it's Mark Miller who did Watchmen.
Oh,
So-
nice. Oh, that'll be cool.
Obviously, like ultra violent, like that whole style. And there's good and bad we've seen with Watchmen. But I mean, it's that whole style and that kind of feeling. So it's really cool. Like I'm really intrigued. I didn't know much about it, and then I know we got some stuff on it this week. So I did a little bit of research, and it actually I'm pretty excited. Like I like the idea of like a superhero Watchmen, and then the whole time like it's really cool because you can go. We could see the 20s, and then we could see the future. So that's a really there's a lot of stuff they can do depending on how many seasons they give us. So
pretty cool.
yeah.
I like
It
Netflix.
it does start in the 1920s. That I'm glad you brought
Right.
that up.
Yeah,
That's
20
where it does start.
starts in 29 and runs until the end of time, which they don't tell us when the end of time is. So
Right.
Well, the story concept is intriguing to me, and I know nothing about it. But for me, I love anything origin. First of all, origin stories are huge for me, especially superhero origin stories. Y'all remember the show Heroes when Heroes came out?
Yeah.
Until it went off the rails because of the writer's strike. They're talking about the first season specifically being just immaculate. I loved the show Heroes, where you had these normal kind of people who have these. They think they have schizophrenia or problems. It ends up being that they have these abilities and powers. I thought that was amazing, at least season one. So the concept of this, and again, I have known nothing about it. What you're talking about, and the first
Right.
super family is really intriguing. So you got me interested.
So I mean, that's going to drop on Netflix. So they're trying to push their own super thing. Do you think we have? I mean, there's always room for new stuff, but do you think with the DC and Marvel, how big we're trying to make them, that this is going to catch on with a new concept like this with more supers?
I think so because how many watched Umbrella Academy?
I
We
have
still have seasons of that coming out. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. And then what's the other show?
boys.
the boys.
Yeah,
I
The
would
Boys
snap
is
8
great.
people
I
for
like
the
the
boys.
boys, but that's
Yeah.
like super gritty.
It's super
is.
dark, but
It's the
And-
rated R that you want, honestly.
What about the one that we showed that's coming to Netflix with the pointy wanks?
Wait, see what?
Remember we showed the picture of the upcoming Netflix one that had all the pointy.
Wasn't it a cartoon?
No, it wasn't a cartoon. Wasn't it Tom Hanks or something in it?
Oh, then I don't know.
Was I here for that episode?
Yeah, you
I
were
don't
here because you
remember
were the one that pointed out about the pointy.
Oh, the cod pieces. Yes, the junk. Yeah, their junk was like. It was
We get it,
weird.
bro.
Oh, the
did.
3D. They like their armor's looks like it's 3D printed. Like the
Yeah.
3D
Was
printed
that?
armor.
No, it looked like
I
they
thought,
had
I
like
didn't- I
Laura
didn't think
Croft
that was
crotches.
I thought that was like a cartoon animated thing, though.
No,
Yeah, I thought it
was
was too. I guess.
What was
I
that?
got the wrong
live
impression.
action.
I'm gonna have to figure that out.
But anyway,
put in live action pointy crotch.
back to what the hold on, which was direction? I can't whatever. Back to Comeback
Sorry,
Kid.
This one.
Yeah, The Boys was amazing, and I'm super duper invested, more invested than I am with Umbrella Academy because Umbrella Academy's first season wasn't that great for me. Second season was better, but so I'm into it, but I'm definitely here for The Boys.
Yeah, I was a big fan of that. Shane put me on that one. That was good.
The Boys is amazing, and I think this has the potential to be like Netflix version of The Boys. Obviously, it's Watchmen, so I mean, if you've read the comics or you've seen the movies, like he has his own style and stuff like that. But I mean, kind of an ultra violent superhero series for Netflix. Obviously, they'll do their own thing. It'll be its own characters, and I feel like there's plenty of room in the genre. Like, it's going to be totally different than anything Marvel and DC have done. Obviously, it's going to be different than The Boys because The Boys is set, with a different premise of the superheroes being bad guys and stuff like that. So, I mean, I'm here for it. I'm I'm excited, and I got to figure out who the pointy crotches are again.
Well, see, I'm just here for all of the stuff, all of the new stuff, like anything because of a streaming service where you get to flesh out characters is going to be interesting. It's one of those things like even The Watchmen when it was on HBO, the series that was amazing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm liking all of the different little genres that's coming out. Even when Bright came to Netflix, and that was like a huge deal. So yeah, I'm here for the superhero stuff, bro.
Do you guys think that with the introduction to this new group, then you got the Watchmen, then you got the 3D printed Laura Croft codpiece characters, then you have all these different people coming out there? Do you guys feel like that eventually we're going to hit a lull, like an oversaturation of superhero stuff, and people are going to start pulling back on it a bit?
Yeah, then we'll go back to
That's
the
pretty
stuff
much
like
what I
Lord of
just
the
asked.
Rings. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna go with no.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
it'll happen because it'll get like super fantasy. Then we'll go back to Lord of the Rings style of stuff, and then it'll get super back into the fantasy. That's how it happens. It's just look at.
I mean,
Well, it happened with zombies.
We were on pirates for a long time.
Oh yeah,
We were
pirates,
on-
zombies.
Zombies
on
were a huge thing.
Harry Potter wizard stuffs for a long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, zombies, and people pulled back on that. Walking Dead, all these different things. People after a while
Walking
started
Dead
getting more
season-
movies.
Walking Dead season 536. Just
Yeah,
end
people-
already.
people pulled-
God.
Yeah, well, there's still
It's
good
not-
stuff coming out zombie wise, but there's actually a kid series called The Last Kids on Earth. My kids are watching it right now. It's actually not a bad show.
Oh.
It's actually not a bad show at all. It's called The Last Kids on Earth, and it's like a kid show, but about kids and zombies and monsters. It's actually quite interesting. They do it really well. I think it's an Amazon or a Netflix
I think that's-
series.
That's one. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's no big deal. But just the series is really good, but that's a zombie type series, and people are really into it. But it's something new, whereas you're not getting the same old zombie story. Where I'm just afraid that it's gonna be like zombies. For years and years, we had this hiatus of zombie movies, and all of a sudden it just pulled back, and everybody's like, "All right, we're kind of over zombies." And I'm just wondering if that's gonna happen with all the superheroes down the road. It's just too much. It's like there's too much to watch, so you're gonna see people pull back on it a bit. It was a question I just wanted to pose.
I think with streaming services, it's gonna treat it a lot like music, where you'd have different genres that were kind of peaking at different times. But now that we have this huge array of ability to listen, you can listen to anything at any time. Now you're gonna have cliques of people who you have your superhero cliques, your zombie cliques, and your like Lord of the Rings and your wizards. And I think it's just the way it's going to change the way we consume because of how many streaming services are available and what they're putting out. That's my take on it.
Jared, the answer to your question, bro, is I think that the cream of the crop is going to rise. As long as Marvel is swinging and knocking it out of here, then I don't mind the other things coming up, because we found out about The Boys, we found out about Umbrella Academy through word of mouth, and that's what's going to happen. Like when these good series come out, people are going to talk about it. That's why this weekend has been the Snyder Cut, weekend, because people are talking about it. So I think as long as we have interesting content, the cream is going to rise to the top, and it's going to flesh out the ones that aren't good, like the Laura Croft pointy crotch people.
What's that be like
was.
the best series ever that
Well,
has
yeah,
ever
it was-
come out?
Just
For the
looks
record,
like-
that
What's
didn't
that
age well.
be the Jupiter legacy that we've been talking about, and we just didn't realize it.
What
don't
about
Google
the one-
pointy crotch superhero?
What
guys, it doesn't work.
What about the one that Joey always talked about? The Wheel in the Sky? That whole fantasy series? It's been
Wheel of Time.
Wheel of Time.
Wheel of Time.
I mean,
they put
they're
out a
gonna
teaser
start-
for that.
Yeah, and it's
I think you're talking about a song, Justin. That
Wheel
was-
in the Sky. Keep
In
on
the
turning,
sky,
man.
keep on turning.
Yeah.
Hey, did y'all ever watch Valerian?
Yes,
What?
yes, I did actually.
It's
Yeah,
a disease.
I liked it, bro. I liked
I
it.
did
It's
too.
outside of the two characters were too young, but I thought the CGI, the story, and everything, I thought it could have did something, but apparently the rest of the world didn't think so.
I actually liked it too. I mean, there were some odd moments because of the age they looked, but yeah, I mean, overall, I thought it was a really good movie
Yeah.
and a good concept. It was a good concept. of
Yeah.
what was going on?
It's the kid that played the one of the what's the flying dude from Spider-Man, with the hobgoblin or something. It was
Yeah, the Green
one-
Goblin.
Yeah.
Green Goblin.
Okay, so it was the one from the Amazing Spider-Man Part 2.
Yeah.
Not the William Dafoe version.
No,
No.
the one with Andrew Garfield.
You said the one that looks like like a young Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, him.
Yeah, he does.
And he was talking like he was like
she's
James Bond,
famous from something too, but I can't remember what it is.
She was great. She could stay, but he she could stay. She could.
I'm sure you'd like her to stay.
Keep her.
We got a lot of stuff coming. So
yeah, there is a lot of stuff coming. And talking about cream of the crop rising to the top, we got Falcon and Winter Soldier, which is coming tomorrow. Which
I'm so stoked.
When we're talking about like the funny comedy style, but still having that some serious note to it.
Marvel just knows what they're doing, man.
All the clips they've been tossing out, it's like, oh man, I want to see that happen. I want to see him throw the shield, and then Winter Soldier's looking at him like, really? Or their little bad cop, good cop thing that they got going on.
I'm pumped for it, man.
It looks really good.
Man, I watched a TV spot scene today on that where he's practicing and he's throwing the shield and Falcon's like working. Oh God, it was so just the scene where he's practicing with the shield, and I was just like, Sam's working the shield. I'm like, it looks so good. It looks so good.
Yeah, I can't wait to send y'all emojis in the morning.
I am ready.
He does it every time.
Yeah.
Knowing that both these characters have ended up being a Captain America at some point, I really want to see that whole like. I really liked when Captain America and Bucky were both throwing the thing to each other and fighting Iron Man. That was a good thing.
Yeah.
So I would really like to see Falcon and Winter Soldier do that when they're battling out. So they're out there practicing, but they're actually practicing learning together how to use the shield. Would be pretty awesome. I'd like to see a lot of that. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, it's set 6 months after Endgame, correct?
I don't know time frame.
I don't know time frame.
I'm pretty sure it's 6 months after.
But the director said that this was going to tie into 3 different movies.
Okay,
so,
good.
Which brings me to my other point about this. I'm very, very, very excited about it. I really am. This was the one that I was most highly anticipating when they were naming off the services for the docket for the services. So the only problem I'm having is I wonder how much this ties into Black Widow, because they were saying that Black Widow is still right now scheduled to come out in May, but they are subject to change their minds on it and push it back even further. But of course, everybody's just wanting them to go ahead and do the premium of it and put it on a streaming service. But I'm super duper excited about Falcon Winter Soldier. I'm just worried how much this is going to bleed into all these other stories.
I mean, the last thing I saw that they posted was they're basically waiting right up to the very deadline to decide what they're going to do. Are they going to push it back, or they're just going to drop it? So I'm interested to see what happens with that. Honestly, I'd see it either way, but we are kind of in that zone that we're kind of starting to open stuff up. Even like states are finally saying, okay, we've got enough vaccines out there. We're going to open up stuff. So maybe theaters can come back. I still say
bring back the drive-ins.
A couple of years.
I think you're going to see a huge. I think you're going to see a huge shift, and I can speak into this being in the medical community, right? That there's a giant thing going on this weekend in Oklahoma where they're going to be set up to give out 30,000, and it's open to the public now. We're in phase 3, I believe, is what it is. So, what's really cool about that is I think you're going to start watching everything kind of open back up slowly, and I'm just really looking forward to. Someone is typing. I'm really looking forward to. I lost my train of thought. Anyways, it's going to be great. Hopefully, they open the theaters.
30,000 vaccines. That's what you were saying.
That was really loud.
Yeah. It's going to be great. Anyways, they're rolling out first.
Sorry,
first
that might have
doses
been
in
me.
this.
I thought I muted my
I thought I was in
mic. I guess I didn't.
I thought I was in the office or something, like a live action The Office, or I don't know what was going on. I get distracted easy, so that was like, wow.
Anyways, so we did see that the run times are going to be longer on the Falcon and Winter Soldier, 45 to 55 minutes long.
Yes,
which is nice.
Very
because
nice.
That's like those
is it
are
gonna,
long.
Are they going to pull a WandaVision where it's still just this much of the show? It's just that much of end credits.
Credits until the very end. They toss something small.
20-minute show, 30
that
minutes.
outro, the outro is its own movie.
That was
Come
pretty
on.
long for an
I
outro.
was like, come on, guys.
But
Now-
hopefully, from what I've seen, the action looks like an Avengers movie, like full-fledged
Yep.
Avenger movie. So if we can get a 45 minutes of that, an actual 45 minutes,
Yeah.
that would be pretty awesome.
Even though it is only 6 episodes, so we get longer episodes, but we get fewer of them. So I don't know if that's the trade-off.
But
'Cause even- I mean-
this one is one that they could come back with the season 2 if they wanted to and do their own thing, even if it didn't match. Like
Yeah.
if it didn't break off again with other stuff, they could still follow their own line too.
But I mean, they left WandaVision in a place where you could have had a season 2. It just seems like they want to do one-off shots on these characters, and I don't know if that's
Yeah.
maybe we see in the future they start breaking off into other characters, and that's why they're doing one-offs.
I think it's smart that they did the one-offs for a couple of reasons. For one, when you're putting it on the streaming service, let's say like somebody who gets Disney Plus because of Mandalorian. Well, you've already paid for your subscription, so it's like, oh, a Falcon Winter Soldier's coming out. Those may not have been your favorite characters, but you want to see. I just want to watch and see what it's about, because I know that's what it was for me for WandaVision. I had no desire to see it, and it turned out being one of my favorite series. But it's also characters, like you said, some of the side characters that may not have been able to sustain a full movie. And then I'm gonna be honest, especially for Falcon Winter Soldier, there's a lot of people that don't want to see Falcon as being Captain America, which I'm sure they're gonna play into a lot on this particular series. So again, characters that may not be able to hold down their own movie, especially when some of the main characters like Iron Man and Captain America are not there to be the mainstay. You get the opportunity to flesh out their characters even more inside of a cinematic experience.
Yep.
You
Yeah,
think we'll get any good? I was gonna say, you think we get any good WandaVision thrown in little references during this series at all? Little
Well, no,
talks
because
about.
it's
Not with the time frame.
the time frame's different.
Well, is it though? Because it's 6 months, and they said that WandaVision or something set just a few
Wanda
weeks.
was only 2 weeks after.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you may actually get some crossover.
So yeah, I mean, just a few things like, oh, about that. Remember that thing in New Jersey or something? Just throw a few little nods at it would be kind of neat.
Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see with what happens with it, because I mean, obviously, we were all thrown off constantly with WandaVision and where they were going to go with that.
I'm ready for Loki.
They had us guessing every time we came on.
Yeah.
You guys see that Captain America meme where it's him at that or he's in the school and he's sitting on the desk, where he's doing the detention videos or whatever, and it said, "So you had a theory about WandaVision that didn't come true," and it's him in the suit on his post. That was really. I saw that meme. I'm like, because we all had this. Everybody had speculations and it didn't happen, didn't work out. I thought that was pretty funny.
So, Bonnie, what did you have to say? There was something.
I was just saying that AMC announced, I think it was yesterday, that they're opening all their theaters back up by the end of March, which is why the stocks went up so much.
Oh, gosh, dang it!
So Bonnie, did you have stock in that?
I do, yes, I do have stock in AMC.
So you're hoping that.
Yeah, well, and that was I don't know what made him make that decision, but I know after New York opened, I can't remember what percentage of theaters or businesses, but after that weekend in New York, I know the theater business jumped like 600%, they said. So I think after that and seeing all these other big cities kind of loosen the reins on their restrictions and stuff, is probably why I'm assuming that AMC decided to go ahead and say, nope, we're going to go ahead and just get everything open back up by the end of the month. So
do you think with them opening up, would you be ready to go back and start doing that? I don't know if you got the shot or not, but
yes.
Are you ready to go back and start that?
Like to the movies?
To go back to the movies, yeah.
Oh, heck yeah. Like they announced that Demon Slayer, the movie, is going to be playing at AMC theaters next month. I'll be going to that. And any other movie that I'm interested in, I'll be going to see.
My wife said if they had stuck some of these things in the movies already, instead of putting them on, we would have went and watched them just to try to help that industry. But right now it's not happening yet.
Which
Okay,
is where. Oh, sorry, I just wanted to say because Maud had mentioned that Black Widow coming out, and then like putting it straight to streaming. So now I'm interested to see what Marvel does, since more theaters are saying that they're going to open back up.
Well, they've held on to Widow, so they've stuck to their guns. I don't see them doing anything other than theaters.
I'm wondering if they have some stuff up their sleeve that they just haven't released info on yet. That that they'll be throwing it out there. And
Marvel's known for that.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I'm sure WB is saying, man, I wish we hadn't let that cat out of the bag right now and just tried to hold off, because, I mean, I think they're going to get the subscriptions, but I don't think they're going to get the money that's going to pay off what they put into these just going streaming.
Yeah.
But for Marvel doing both, if they can get them both coming out and get them in the theaters and get them with the other, then, I mean, that they've got the money on both sides.
Yeah.
Okay, you took that away? I was going to show it.
I went ahead and just sent it to you.
Okay,
So
I'll pull this up real quick. So it was what we were talking about.
it was what we were talking about.
100%. It was exactly what we were talking about. Let me
100%. Yes.
So funny.
I don't understand it.
There it is.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Here we go.
Pointy crotch.
Look at that. Yeah. What in the?
Scroll down a little. Look at this. And it's just the dudes. Like,
Yeah, but even like her
right there.
it's
Her,
bad
her
for her
chest
too,
plates.
Yeah.
I didn't notice the chest. Yeah. Well, he's. I mean, yeah.
And that, just so everybody knows, the guy in the middle, that is Josh Duhamel. If
Okay.
nobody knew that.
Oh, that's not Chris
wow.
Hemsworth, because that's what it looks like.
And I think
Okay,
the previous he
speaking
shoots
of
lasers
Wish
out of his
version
eyes.
of
So
Chris Hemsworth,
Yeah.
that's what that is.
Get him, Jared.
exactly. No, sorry, there's a lot of googling. Don't Google pointy crotch superheroes, okay? Don't do it.
I mean, you got
Don't do it.
that?
Look at that. That dude is chiseled.
I'm hoping this isn't the future.
Literally.
Like, we're going to see different iterations of suits. So maybe this is in the beginning.
This is like when you brought that Lara Croft game home, popped in that 64, and that's what you're looking at.
100%.
Loved it.
I won't bring that back up. I'm not going to point that one out. If you played the
Still
game,
trying
you
to-
know.
You know.
Still
Yep.
you know.
Still try to find that cheat code.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
You know, you know.
If you know, you know.
So we got the Falcon and Winter Soldier, obviously. We got Loki.
Loki.
Yes.
Looks completely different than everything else, too. It's not
Yes.
like...
Yeah.
It's
Looks
almost
good.
got that Indiana Jones type feel with where we got the different little sections that he can go and do. But anyways, or we talked about something different. What was the other one? Quantum Leap. That style.
Quantum Leap.
Except for
Almost
he's
a
not
little
going
Back
to
to
be a
the
girl.
Future. I don't want to say almost like Back to the Future-esque a little bit too, because I know he's trying to stop himself, but even they were trying not to run into iterations of themselves when they were in the second movie, and they're jumping all around.
Yeah,
Time jumping is
I'm ready
a
for it.
cool
Yeah.
concept, man. I love it.
I'm
You get really
going on
messy,
record.
though.
I'm going on record to say I'm not looking forward to it.
You're not looking
Okay.
forward to Loki.
You said that about Wanda. You said that about WandaVision too.
Right. So I can own up to it and say I was wrong, but I'm telling you, I'm not looking forward to this one.
I can't wait to hear you say that again.
Okay,
You're wrong.
just so everybody knows, he does like The Last Jedi. So if you don't like The Last Jedi, don't
It's
listen
okay,
to
they're gonna
his
throw it
reviews.
Don't
out.
worry.
Yeah, they're throwing it out. You won't have to even remember that one. It'll be like it'll be like 2017 DC. We don't even remember that movie.
Just uncanonize it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So Loki comes out June 11th. I mean, we've got
11.
Disney's basically just tossing these things out. We're getting a good train going now of like maybe we've got a week between Wanda and Falcon. So that was last week. And then we got Falcon starting this week. This one goes for 6 weeks, which is almost June 11th, isn't it? No, we're in.
I think there's
We're
a
in the
week
middle
break
of
in
March.
between there too.
So, I mean,
And then after Loki is What If? The
What
What
If?
If series in August.
Oh.
is the What If a anime style or is it?
Yeah.
It's anime. Okay.
Yeah, it's like
So they're not going
cartoon.
to pull in. They're just going to do voices then. Okay. That could be good. I don't know.
I'm
That one-
interested to see it.
That might be one that I don't know about.
They haven't done anything bad yet, so
It's true. And
Well,
the
we
comics
did-
were pretty good. The What If comics.
We do get Chadwick Boseman back for the What If series.
which is cool.
Oh, cool. That
Is
would be
that
really cool.
pre-recorded then? I guess.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. So we got Wakanda still coming back. That's good.
They're filming
Uh,
the new Wakanda movie, right?
Not yet.
It's
okay.
still, it's still.
They gotta-
Yeah, because we still have Ace here. He's the next king. He's
To be
he's here
honest,
with us.
though, to be honest, there is a super deep rumor. Again, rumor. I'm just telling y'all, rumor. For any of you who have seen Bridgerton, they were talking about the young man from Bridgerton, which would not be a good look. But I'm just telling you, that's the rumor.
Okay.
Is that a replacement?
My wife has seen Bridgerton.
Or is that a? Are we talking like a full replacement? So he's still.
So,
T'Challa, or is he?
and
somebody different?
I have no clue. But I'm just saying, I told you who my pick is if they decide to go
Right.
that direction. I want to see John David Washington. I think that it would be easy on the eyes for people as far as the transition. But the Bridgerton guy is, he way too light skinned for me. So
He's popular.
he is. He's very
Yeah,
popular, and he's a
Bridgerton's
great
done
actor.
well, so
Great actor. I'm just saying for the role of
I've never
T'Challa,
watched it,
though.
so I don't know.
They could just get Robert Downey Jr. to do it. I mean, he did
Yeah.
Tropic Thunder, so
Yeah, that's what's up.
I don't know if that's the look Marvel's going for.
What was that? What was his name? The guy from Bridgerton.
Oh my gosh, you would ask me. I can't pull it.
Or if
Just
I
type in
looked it up-
Bridgerton, you should
You
find it.
type
Go
in
ask-
Bridgerton cast. you'll see.
Shane, go ask your wife.
I had to pull up
You
John
said she
David
would-
Washington.
she would probably know
I-
his name. She
I see
liked
what
the
you're
show.
saying.
I think
It's
I see
not
what
a-
you're talking about. Let me
yeah.
pull this up.
I didn't watch it. It's not my cup of tea.
You say that until you watch it.
That's
you
what I've
watched
heard. No, but I've heard. Like, yeah, but still.
It's really good. It's a great watch with your wife, bro. Trust me.
So
Huh?
is that him? Here we go. There we go.
Yes, that's him.
Okay.
Hmm.
But I think because he already has an accent, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what the like. Again, this is just a deep rumor. I haven't seen like any Marvel blogs or anything, but there's some on Black Twitter. This is what they're talking about. So
Black Twitter.
I just pulled up John David Washington.
How do I
and
find Black Twitter?
You can't. If you have to ask, you ain't gonna
you have
get
to
it.
ask, you have to ask, you don't know.
I'll refer
like
to another segment. Listen,
It's like-
if you know, then
If you know, you know.
If you know, then you know.
But
You see what
seriously,
you see what he did there was.
yeah,
you
pull
see
up
like
that
what
John
they
David
did.
Washington though. He's got some look that mimics a lot of like the eyes and T'Challa. I see what you're saying. He would be a good pick if they were going to do a full recast.
Why can't we do? I mean, we know that the lore of Wakanda is that Black Panthers are chosen. Why can't we write a new and let that Black Panther
I
be
mean,
written out in a way? I know we've talked about it. But
No, I'm just saying. I just think for me and a lot of people I spoke to, again, because Sarah jumped on me about what you're saying right now, is that she wants Shuri to get it because it's already in the lore that it's passed down or whatever the case may be. But I just think it's a misstep for you to write out T'Challa for who he is, just for the sake of the death, the tragic death of Chadwick Boseman. That's
you
just
don't think they could do it in an honoring way, like a way that makes it
I just
honoring
think
to
you
him?
need to, bro. That's my thing.
Yeah.
That's just me. That's just me.
Can they not still get the story across with her with your same idea, or is it because you need a black strong male?
It's not
You're
even about
wanting
it
to
being a
pursue?
black strong male. My thing is this, right? I just honestly believe if something were to happen to any one of our mains, like Chris Hemsworth or Chris Evans or anybody during the prime of their stuff, and if something would have tragically happened to them, they would have replaced them because of the character
Yep.
that was going forward. So my thing is, if you weren't planning to give T'Challa's Black Panther to Shuri in the main story, if you weren't going to do that when he was alive, then why are you doing that now? That's my only
Yeah.
Okay,
Makes sense.
yeah, I could see that, but we don't have a choice.
I mean, I
We're stuck with what Marvel does. But maybe we'll get surprised, and maybe they will. Maybe, I mean, It hasn't been 100% said, has it?
Well, Feige
It's
came
weird.
out during the call and said they are not going to recast.
Okay.
He said that on the call. Ain't that what he said, Bonnie?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that like I mean that was like right after he passed though. You think that was a
Yeah,
knee jerk
it's been a couple of
reaction?
months ago.
Could have
Yeah,
been.
but that's the thing though. If it wasn't going to be so, then you didn't have to comment on it at all. So the
Probably.
fact that they
Yeah.
came out to say it is what makes it a little finalized to me. Because,
Yeah.
but and I'm gonna say this, and I know we need to move on. I'm gonna just say this. I do think part of it has to do with Ryan Coogler, maybe because Ryan Coogler was really close with Chadwick Boseman, and so maybe he's like, listen, I am not gonna do this movie unless we do this. And with the success that he had from the first Black Panther film, I can see Marvel being like, hey man, we got to keep him. So if that's the story he wants to tell, and if it works, it works. So I mean, if that again, in Feige I trust, I'm gonna watch it, and but I'm disappointed with the decision. That is my stance.
I mean, it's fair. I mean, we don't replace Batman with Batgirl every 3 years when we do a new Batman. So
We don't
it
have
makes sense.
stories that go on long enough to replace it.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Completely different problem.
But I mean,
We-
that's
we
what,
just recast.
yeah. I mean, but that's what Ace. That's how Ace won me over. Is there's certain characters that we just recast and we don't even think twice about it, like Batman, and
Spider-Man.
think about James Bond. How many times have we recast James Bond? Outside of the superhero universe, so it makes sense to me. Like, continue the character, and I know that she picks up the mantle in the comics, but I mean, if you want to do that, then give her, eventually you could do an offshoot, and keep the main series going. There's plenty of ways you could do it, but you only got one Black Panther movie.
Recast Luke Skywalker.
Well, I mean, Ace has mentioned, casting it as Sebastian Stan. So
I mean, since we're in that realm, we're already kind of over our time, but we at least need to talk for just a second about it. So I'm gonna let Ace just kind of throw this out there, since nobody else thought. We were hoping the opposite.
We all
Go
hoped.
ahead, Ace.
Oh.
Go for it, Ace.
I recall back when we had an earlier podcast back
Can you
when
mute him?
it's the Star Wars podcast,
Push me.
and we had conversations about Kathleen Kennedy, and I recall saying that she was going to be around for a long time, and I heard some chirping. Chirp, 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 chirp. She's gone. Chirp, chirp.
He's cutting up. Can you hear him?
Oh yeah, he's cutting out. Oh
What
man,
is?
Oh, that's such a shame.
Go.
It's during the conference call, the investors call, the new CEO basically came out and said that Kathleen Kennedy was going to be there for a while. So basically, if she does eventually step down, it will be because of her stepping down. And I know a lot of people were disappointed with that. It definitely set the internet on flames because of mixed reactions on how people feel. So we thought we would definitely bring it up on the podcast. But yes, Kathleen Kennedy's going to be around for a while.
If I could do like stuff for my screen, it'd be like crying right now.
I mean,
It's okay. They're gonna cut out a canon anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well, man.
her recent track record with the series it's been really good.
Yeah.
Her most recent movie track record has not been good.
It's been very good.
yeah.
Has not
The
been good.
the track record is though that she just hired the right people.
That's what you got to
and
do
let
though
them
as
do
the
their
boss.
thing.
But
That's
you
what
gotta
she
do.
did.
see, here's the thing though. When it
No,
comes,
don't give me
billion
your
dollars.
don't give me your bull crap about $1 billion.
when it comes,
Don't give me your bull crap about $1 billion.
when it comes to the
If you look up the last 3 movies, no,
Shane,
Shane,
let me ask you a question.
no.
Okay,
I'm not allowed to
okay,
ask-
okay. Before we say that, Ace is gonna say you have to give her the good with the bad. Just so we know,
I gave her the new Disney Plus
Go ahead,
series.
Ace.
She's
Go ahead.
done well.
So when you look at any successful football
Here we
team,
go.
any sports team, right?
Oh my
Here we
god, with the freaking team.
We're going deep.
let's look at the Buccaneers for a
Why don't
second.
we look at the Dallas Cowboys? They make
We're looking
billions
at
of
the
dollars,
Buccaneers.
don't win
Are
anything.
you gonna let me
That's
make?
because Tom
Total
Brady
garbage.
sold his soul.
Are you gonna let me make my point?
You gotta let him
so
talk.
the
Let him
Buccaneers
talk.
last
Talk.
year did not make it to the Super Bowl, so they decided, okay, we're going to get a new quarterback. They bring in Tom Brady.
Don't compare Kathleen Kennedy and
So
Tom
the
Brady.
thing is that when it comes to when you look at the Buccaneers in the beginning of the season, they did not look like they were going to go anywhere. But at the end of the day, they won a Super Bowl. So
They were
you
bucking
have
your
to
age.
take the good with the bad in order to get great outcomes.
That is a
The
terrible
point is-
analogy. That
It's
is
not.
a terrible
Also,
analogy.
So the thing is that when you're
You're
in
not
an
even, you're not even making
investor's call,
sense. Tom
when
Brady
you're
is
in
the
an
GOAT.
investor's call,
Bring Tom Brady into Star Wars. I'd probably like it.
when you are in an investor's call, they're going to ask you how much money you made the company because that's what they care about. So they're going to look at the track record of she had success with when it comes to financial success. The one that they're going to give her a knock on, the one loss that she's going to have is Solo. Then they're going to look at, well, how did the Mandalorian do? Very well. So 2 seasons of that actually. So again, when you
And then
get
she fires all her
when
characters.
you get
We're just going to glance
this is my
over.
last thing. This is my last thing I'm gonna say. Then you can have it, Shane. When you are doing something, the 2 people that get blamed are if we're still talking football, it's gonna be the
Tom
head
Brady.
coach and the quarterback. Those are the 2 people you're gonna blame. So with this, you're gonna blame the director and the one that put the director there, which would be Kathleen Kennedy. So you got to give her the praise. And you got to give her the praise when she does things right, and you can bring her down when she does stuff wrong.
Look, I gave the woman her praise. She has done well with the new Disney Plus stuff. The reason for that is because she put someone in charge that knows Star Wars. Okay?
That's
So
what she's supposed to do.
that's
her
all
job.
well and good.
Right,
But
that's
you
her job.
look at her
She
track
didn't do
record
that.
with the films, and the most recent films have not been a success. I know they made money, but you look at the fan base and you look at the reaction and you look at the reviews, except for episode 8, because episode 8 had good reviews. Look, you can do that all you want, but you look at the brand at where it was at after episode 7, 8, 9. It was in a worse spot than it was before we had episode 7, 8, and 9 on. That's good. I don't see any 7, 8, and 9 there. You're proving my point. You're proving my point. Look behind you. There's not a single thing from 7, 8, and 9 because it's garbage. Look all confused.
Shane, answer this question.
Thank you for proving my point. I appreciate
Answer this
that.
question, Shane. One question.
Your own screensaver just proved it. Nobody wants to see crap from 7, 8, and 9. The reason for that is they're total
Hi,
trash.
Shane. How are you? Can you answer a question for me?
Go ahead. What's that?
Is she still there or not?
What's that?
I rest my case.
Yeah, she's there because of the success with
Thank
Disney
you.
Plus.
Thank you.
Turds are,
That's
hey,
all well and
turds are
good.
still in my toilet until I flush them. So I'm just saying.
I did see I actually do see 7, 8, and 9. It's that smear in the corner.
That's Exegol. Look, I'm not surprised that she's still there. Honestly, I'm not really concerned about it as long as she keeps on the track she's on. I
If
like
she just
who
let
she.
Favreau and Filoni handle it, and she just steps
Yeah.
back and let them do it.
I like
we
that
got
she
aces.
has people that know Star Wars in charge of what we're seeing right now. That's what gets me excited. Like now, I mean, I still don't know where she's going to go or what they're going to do with the new movies. I know we got Wakiti doing one, and I know we have my favorite boy in the world doing his own trilogy, and I know there's some other stuff floating around out there. So
Kevin Feige's.
what's that?
Kevin Feige's one that he's producing. So you got Kevin Feige's the one he's producing.
Okay,
You got the Ryan Johnson trilogy. You have Taika Waititi, and then
Yes.
you have the Rogue Squadrons coming out for Patty Jenkins.
Yeah, so I think the only one I'm not excited about is Rogue Squadrons, but obviously I'm there for it. I mean, I'll see it, but that's probably the lowest on my list.
Same here.
Yeah.
Here. I want to see what Taika does.
Yes.
And my thing is that just like we've talked about, y'all hear us arguing and fighting about this, but honestly, it really, I'm a Star Wars fan, so I want to see new Star Wars stuff. But the thing is that for me, we talked about Ryan Johnson, if he got the opportunity to do his own vision, regardless if it would have been JJ or Ryan Johnson or even Colin Trevorrow, any one of those directors that would have got to see their entire vision from beginning to end, we wanted was a cohesive story. So that's why I'm looking forward to Ryan Johnson.
And I'm honestly, I still say 8 has some of the best cinematography in Star Wars. Like, I loved some of the shots he did. I like some of the stuff that he did. So I'm very excited to see it in a movie where I'm not so invested in Luke Skywalker. I'm really excited to see what he can do. And again, I'm hopeful that she continues in this direction. Like, I like what we've seen on Disney Plus, so I'm very hopeful. And I've read all 3 of the new. I think there's only 3 so far in the High Republic, that new series and that new era that we're exploring. And I loved all 3 books. I know we reviewed one of them. We didn't review the other 2, but I've read all 3. I really like the tie-ins, and I like where they're going with the story. So I'm pretty excited. I don't know what's upcoming for the High Republic, but I will give her props. She's put people in the right places more recently, and they have a good trajectory. And if they can continue that, then you know what? Maybe this time next year, or maybe in a couple years, I praise Kathleen Kennedy. But just I got my fan service with Luke. Give me some more of that, and she'll buy my love. But I'm gonna go see whatever movie they put out.
Last thing, what's the one thing everybody is looking forward to in this next stretch that we have? We're talking about past Snyder Cut today. Or you can count Snyder Cut. Pick one thing.
Like
is
the
it
year?
Snyder, or is it Falcon, or is it the
Multiverse.
Ahsoka series?
Multiverse of Madness.
That's the one thing you're looking for?
Yeah,
good.
I was so surprised by the first Doctor Strange movie and how much I enjoyed it. The mystic arts in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to me is awesome. I like Cumberbatch playing Doctor Strange. I think it's a great fit, and I'm really interested to see how they're going to progress the arcane arts and the different mystics arts in the universe without getting too overpowered, I guess. So I'm interested to see how this next one's going to go with multiverse.
Bonnie, next.
Mine would have to be Black Widow, because I've been waiting for her movie since we first saw her. So that's what I'm excited about.
Ace?
Because I've seen the Snyder Cut, I would definitely say I would love to see what the Batman looks like, especially with so much controversy around Robert Pattinson.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to Winter Soldier for sure. It's just because it's curing my Marvel itch, and that's what I'm really pumped for it. So tomorrow I'll be all jazzed.
Justin, why you didn't say Falcon?
I ain't worried about that. Just Winter Soldier. I'm just kidding.
I'm just playing, y'all. Just playing.
He's jumping on Black Twitter and he's talking about you now.
Fine, go ahead. That white guy with the blue Marvel shirt.
Shane?
Mine is a tie between the Halo TV series and Amazon's Lord of the Rings series.
Which we haven't really talked about. We talked about Halo, but yeah.
There's $1 billion in the Amazon's Halo or Lord of the Rings series. You invest $1 billion in something, it better look good. So,
and we've seen some good stuff from the Halo, from picture wise.
I can't wait for Halo. So those are the two that I'm most excited for right now.
Since you mentioned Lord of the Rings, that's probably up there with Halo. Those are my top two. So it's hard.
It's hard.
I'm ready to finish. I'm ready to finish Zack Snyder.
I'm an idiot. Ahsoka. That's what I'm looking forward to. The Ahsoka series. I'm all Marvel brained.
Yeah.
It's not thinking Star Wars.
It's okay.
I mean, the next couple years, guys, we have so much stuff coming.
Yeah.
So much stuff coming.
Well, okay. Love you guys. Love all you guys out there watching, listening. Thanks for hanging with us. Love you. And we will see you next Thursday. 7:30.
Later.
We are the Marauders and Marvel Comics, apparently.
That's right.
Sponsored.
Shirt. That's a sponsor.
That's
Look at that Superman.
Look at Superman's nice.
It's quality Superman.